the first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 21st episode of the Sunday SITREP, the official podcast of the Armed Forces Fishing League. And you're probably going to hear a little background noise out of my mic because I've got a 3-year-old running around acting a fool. No, she's being fine for now until the marshmallow juice kicks in after she ate a couple marshmallows this late. But we'll figure it out.
And whose fault is that?
It's mine. You know, I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was going to be like, hey, eat a couple marshmallows and then be a good girl for me. Man, she's she's already fired up. So that might have been a mistake on my part.
5-year-old here too, so golden.
Good deal. It's all good though. I think she's gonna be just fine. She's running around looking for stuffed animals, so we're squared away. But yeah, we got an exciting episode tonight, y'all. Your kitty cat? It's on the bed. On the bed. Our bed. So we might already have to go start a rescue mission for a kitty cat. On our bed, in our room. In our bed. But yeah, we got an exciting episode tonight. We got Gage, Spagnola, and Jeremiah Jensen, our national champions, and we're going to talk about the team championship. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. We learned about 1 minute before we went live. They hit us with a potential funny story we're going to hear out of this.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let them break into it, but was not expecting that tonight. But it is what it is. It's going to be hilarious. I'm down. We're going to dive a little bit into the Bassmaster Open that just happened this weekend on Clark's Hill with some absolutely ridiculous weights and kind of some crazy ways they caught them from what we heard so far. And it's weird with the cold front and then just mega sacks out of there. Kind of maybe something along the lines of when OHIV popped off in Texas. They got snow for the first time in a long time. It's the first time that area had snow in a long time. And then they have 25, 26-pound sacks or whatnot. Maybe there's something to it. I don't know. Pressure.
You guys
cold,
can have all the snow. I'll send it all
we're
down
good.
your way.
We're good. We had 24 hours of snow, and that was enough for us. She's fired up. But yeah, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some baits and stuff. But before we dive into all that, make sure you guys are doing the giveaway. Hashtag #DSITREP after you like, share, and then drop that in the comment box for us. And if you have not, go over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube. We got 2 folks watching on there right now, which is better than it's been. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, if you're strictly a Facebook follower, watch us on YouTube too. Why not? Double down. Cool. You got anything you want to talk about, Nick, other than the cold temperatures you sent down our way that we're not really a big fan of down here in the South? 7 inches of snow.
We got plenty more to send your way too if you want it.
We'll pass, bro. The tasting was enough. Tasted like salt, and that was enough for us. So too much sodium.
I even heard like southern Louisiana got snow too.
It's wild.
And
Florida, yeah, Destin. I seen a video of a pontoon boat in Destin going across like a bay, a no-wake zone or something, throwing snowballs back and forth with a Coast Guard boat in Destin, Florida. That's insane.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's and it wasn't like an inch. Like the whole front seat was just packed full of snow. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna copy everything I say tonight? Yeah. You weirdo. We don't need an echo.
Eric says no more snow.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dude. That was enough. We had enough. I was good with I think in my house we got 3 inches maybe. And the roads got kind of nasty. Me and Bobby might have went out and did some donuts and had some fun. But really wasn't horrible for South Carolina roads. They actually prepped. I seen salt trucks for the first time in my life in South Carolina, like multiple salt trucks. And they had graders going down I-26, I guess, to make up for the lack of salt trucks. But it was pretty cool. It was a different experience than the last time we got snow. Last time we got snow in South Carolina that I remember, I think I was deployed the last time, but time before that was like 2015, 2016 time frame, maybe 2017. We got 6 inches of snow and the whole state shut down. It was wild. I literally, on the road right outside my house, we followed a Ford Ranger DOT truck, and they were dumping sidewalk salt. Yeah, you can have that water. They were dumping sidewalk salt out of the bed of the truck, like bags of sidewalk salt from Lowe's, because they did not have the infrastructure and were not prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, craziness.
Yeah.
Craziness. Well, before we dive into the upcoming events or anything, you got anything to talk about, Nick?
I do want to say something. I was going to wait till the end, but I want to just get it out now. If we could all send some prayers and support to Dave Hicks, our Virginia director, and his family. Dave just recently lost his sister. So if you could all just, send some love and prayers their way, I know he'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to get that out there now.
We love you, man.
Well,
We're lifting up your family.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
Sure. Hate the worst part of life is that part of life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get into the
upcoming events.
To these guys and the other stuff, yeah.
For sure. Before we dive into that real quick, we'll go over the upcoming events real fast. Coming up next weekend, February 1st, it's next Saturday on Lake Tillery out of Swift Island. North Carolina is having their first qualifier. Roger that. Philip, just to confirm, I'm tracking February 8th. So South Carolina and Georgia are both having their first qualifiers the following weekend, February 8th. So here in South Carolina, ours is going to be on Lake Murray out of the Larry Coon ramp. Don't be touching those buttons, man. Out of the Larry Coon ramp. And then Georgia is having theirs probably out of the Broyles ramp, as he's saying here. So I'm sure we'll have that information solid next Saturday. If you're coming here for the updates on that next Saturday, we'll have that, next Sunday, we'll have that information solid the week before the tournament for sure for Georgia. But yeah, that's all the February events we got going on. As we get through, as we get into February, we'll start talking about our March events and whatnot. My goodness. Yeah, crazy one tonight. The marshmallows have taken full effect, but if you don't have anything else, Nick, I'm ready to bring in Jeremiah and Gage.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. There's Mr. Gage Spagnola and Jeremiah Jensen.
Yeah, that was me.
Hello, guys.
How y'all doing?
We're living the dream. We both got 2 little crazy little girls. Mine is wound up. I think Jeremiah said it right before we started. He said, I just dialed up the intensity, and I believe he is correct.
Mine's feeding off of yours too, so it's
she hears her. So she's yeah. Good vibes tonight. Family vibes tonight. You see the great. Yeah. That's what she's been doing the whole time. She's just been out of camera frame. You want more popcorn? I don't have more popcorn. I can get you some goldfish.
I just wanted to show this real quick, Austin.
Yeah, for sure.
Dave, that's what it's all about, man. We're here for you. We're all in, we're a family. So anything you guys need, just let us know. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. That, especially as one of our directors, you've been with us since the start. We're here for you in anything you or your family need. Anything. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go get her some goldfish real quick before she snaps on me about wanting more snacks real quick. Y'all want to dive into the national or the team championship?
Sweet.
Yeah,
sounds good.
So, for those that don't know, these were the 2 that qualified for the team championship through our national event, and sounded like it was an interesting time for you guys down there. What I want to do is just kind of talk to you guys about, you know, the practice, showing up, what it was like actually fishing an event of that caliber. Just kind of like start to finish talk about the whole experience.
Awesome. I know.
So what was the travel like for you guys? How far of a ride was that?
Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, I know he slept most of the way while I did all the driving. It was about, I'd say like 11 and a half to 12 hours drive. So a good solid full day, but not terrible bad, you know. We made it early. We left early in the morning. We made it there by early afternoon to kind of get settled and kind of get a lay of the land.
Yeah.
Even drove over a couple bridges and saw some boat ramps to kind of see what the water clarity looked like in different spots. So it wasn't bad at all. I mean, anytime you make it without any problems, it was a good trip.
Oh, for sure. Especially on towing a boat that long. I mean, anytime I
Right.
tow down south, it's not just a normal drive. Like your stress level is up higher because you're so aware. You're like hyper alert to everything going on around you. It's stressful.
Well, just everything can turn into a big mess. You're towing something, you know, you get tires go bad, bearings go bad, whatever, and now you're, you know, hundreds of miles away from home. How are you going to get it fixed? So we were fortunate to have any issues on the front, and so equipment-wise, it was a great trip. Truck and trailer was perfect, and no issues with the boat, other than taking waves over the bow during the tournament. But
We'll get into
that's
that.
the next part of this. Yeah.
So you showed up. You just got situated on day one. You know, like you said, lay of the land. Was that the day that did they have a meeting that night, or how did that go? Was it you just jump right into
No,
practice
so
the next day?
Yeah, so
Sunday.
the meeting was actually the night before the tournament started. So we had a couple days of practice time before the meeting took place. So we traveled one day, and we did not have any time on the water that travel day. We just, like I said, we drove over a few bridges and looked at ramps to see kind of what stuff looked like. And then the next morning we went out, we put in a full day. We basically had 2 full solid days of practice time.
But on a body of water that size, I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of things, 2 days isn't a whole lot to break down a lake that big, right? Like, so how'd you guys?
Yeah, no, it's a huge lake. I mean, it was almost infinite, the area you had available. For anybody that doesn't know, I mean, I think from the dam at Kentucky Lake Dam up to where basically it becomes a river where you hit the next lock is 115 miles one way. So you could literally run and run and never get to the other end of the lake.
Yeah.
And then plus we had Lake Barkley available to us as well, to the Tennessee border. So, you know, you're talking, you had a ridiculous amount of water to cover. And that time of year they draw the lake down. So a lot of the backwater bays and stuff are basically not a part of the fishery anymore. It's too shallow, or you can't get access to it. So really, it's a main lake and main creek deal. There's all the backwaters are all silted in. It's a relatively flatland reservoir, so most of the fishing is happening, you know, in relatively shallow water. Even in the deep channel, it's like 40 feet deep in the deepest channel at the mid lake area where we were at.
So how'd you guys pick your, like, did you look at maps or anything? Like, how'd you know where to start? Like, what was your plan on day one to practice?
Well, so once, ironically enough, I spent hours and hours and hours watching YouTube videos and researching the Ouachita River, because I thought we were going there, and I felt really, really good and confident about going to that place. And then we found out, hey, the lock and dam were being worked on, and the water was drawn down like 15 feet, and the ramps were not usable, and the fishery wouldn't have been usable either for that kind of field anyway. So I had a little bit of experience in Kentucky Lake, at least to understand like navigation and kind of understand the fall drawdown. But really, it was, you know, hours and hours of poring over Google Earth looking for features when the water was drawn down on Google Earth. You could find rock veins and ditches and, you know, basically like things that are different than everything else. And I had I don't know what I have, Gage, like 130 waypoints
Yeah.
for us to look at.
I had another how many, but all of our waypoints were in the same places. So
Yeah, we found the same type of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I was just transferring waypoints from our phones onto our Lowrance on the boat, and then we just started a big lap around. Like we went south one day, we went north one day, and then made a lap and just checked waypoints and eliminated a lot of water. And then in the back of my mind, I also knew we had weather coming. So I was trying to figure out a pattern that would work with the weather that we're going to be faced with. And the weather was, it was going to get really cold and really windy. And the weatherman was right this time.
Well, during practice, it was slick calm the entire time. No chop in the water. It was like perfect conditions, and it was insane. And then complete 360 or 180 on the day of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first day of the tournament, it was like in the low 40s, I think, for highs. So it wasn't terrible. Like it was freezing in the morning. Like it was upper 20s, but it got up to the like mid 40s. So it wasn't that bad, but the wind was blowing just a steady 20 to 25 with higher gusts. And on a lake that size, you're talking big water, big waves. It definitely affected navigation.
The barge
it affected just being able to hold your boat. Yeah. I about got tossed out of the boat a couple times. And we witnessed, not only did we witness, I think 5 boats spear waves, like right outside of the pocket we were fishing on the initial run in the morning. The guys that ended up winning, I think, were one of those boats, because they talked about at the end of the day spearing like several waves trying to get to their spot. And I mean, I saw the boat go like submerged, like it went under. And I know the water was cold. Those guys, I mean, it wasn't just like an uncomfortable scenario, it was like a dangerous scenario. So as far as I know, there were no problems with that. But I mean, you're talking about cold water, cold air, cold
wind. They
wind.
said at the end of day 1, they said, I think 50 boats went in early, and there was like 15 breakdowns like before noon. They opened up the scales at 12:30. They were like, you can bring your fish in at 12:30. And day 1, like I think I'd say a good majority of the field left early. Like they just like went in and went home.
God.
Yeah, it was brutal. The lake is fantastic. We found a pattern in practice where we felt like we could catch fish doing a couple different things, but primarily it was rock oriented. And it was like little subtle drops with chunky rock surrounded by pea gravel rock. And we had got bit on a couple of different crankbaits, and then we also had gotten a few bites on a Carolina rig. Just a trick worm on a Carolina rig. And I thought with the wind coming up that that was actually going to make it better in my mind, because I thought, you know, here at home on Lake Murray, if you get some wind blowing, that really turns on that shallow crank and bite, which is what I thought was going to work. And
Yeah.
Apparently that's not what happens on Kentucky Lake because it went away. We had 5 bites on our starting spot, with I think 2 keepers, and after that it was a grind. And we ended up, I mean, we caught a good number of fish, but I think we only had 3 keepers. It was rough. We were throwing back a bunch of 13-inchers, and they had to be 14 to keep. So, but we just weren't on the program. Like, even if we would have caught,
No.
5.
The guy that won it up the lake, and he was fishing current breaks up the river. So they were live scoping in like 20 foot of water, and they were catching 5 to 6 pound smallmouth. I mean, 25 pounds a day. I think they had like 10, 20 pound bags day 1, and then day 2, because the second day was canceled. Then the third day was the final day, and that was the guy had 25 pounds. He had 50 pounds in 2 days. The team did, and all they were doing was fishing current breaks. But they were way like they made the run because they had the fish, right? All of our fish there was 5 to 6 footers and a 40-minute ride between us and our fish, and it was at the point where, do we risk damaging our boating trying to get to it, or do we put our pattern up here?
Yeah, we weren't on enough to take that on. Those guys evidently were on enough to be willing to take that on. So, but the reality is we could have put every fish that we had together, and we weren't going to have 25 pounds. So we missed it. It got cold. It got colder faster than I was anticipating. I think it was just kind of a little bit of a freak cool down. Even leading up to it, it had dropped from low 50s to low 40s just in like a 10-day period. So it really hurt what my plan was. And I mean, this is maybe a fault of mine, but my mentality is you got to fish your strengths and go with what you know. And if that's not going to happen, then it's just not going to happen, because I'm not going to go beat somebody drop shot 30 feet. That's not my style. So even if I had decided to go do that, we still wouldn't have got teeth kicked in. So there was no point doing it.
Sign me up. I love that stuff.
Yeah. So this probably would have been a good event for you, because that's what ended up being the deal.
This lake actually, it runs, so it kind of reminds me of Champlain. I mean, not as wide, but it's long. Like Champlain's like 120, 130 miles long, north to south. And when you get a south wind on Champlain, you're not going out. Anything like 15 mile an hour and up, it's tough.
Well, and so this lake is particularly notorious because the current is actually flowing from south to north. So the water, the river actually runs north. And so when you have a north wind, it's pushing against the natural flow of current. It just piles up the way that much worse.
Hey, Jeremy,
which is part of the reason why they canceled this. I'm breaking up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little choppy. Is it just me, Gage, or is it my?
No, I can hear it, but I can still understand them. It's just his service. If you get to know him, it's we're good.
Okay, this is good. All right.
Okay, are we back?
We're back.
No, all I was saying was the second day was canceled because of the wind as much as the cold temperature. Because the wind's against the current, so the waves just get, it's extra bad. And then, not to mention that it was like in the teens. It was just bitter cold. So
yeah, that's brutal. So what was it like? I want to dive into the experience a little bit. So like, you guys showed up, you did your practice, you went to the meeting. what was the feeling when you walked into that meeting and you see, 250 boats, 500 people? Like, what is that feeling like when you go there?
I will say it was kind of like you didn't realize how many 250 boats can be. Or I think it started at 280 and 40 teams didn't show up because of the weather or something crazy. So it was like down to 240. And you walk in, and then there's this long line, and we will just sit in the truck in the heat, and wait before we just roll in there.
Yeah.
If you back up to the very beginning, the reservations that they made at the state park, Paris Landing State Park, highly recommend it to anybody. If you want to go to Kentucky Lake, go stay there. It wasn't that expensive, and it was like primo 5-star type of resort type of place right on the lake. And everybody there was actually, oh, hey, are you part of the team championship? Oh, great. Here's your stuff. Like, they were prepared. They had all their stuff going. So Bassmaster already did their due diligence in the beginning, even on short notice. So they made everybody feel very valuable, from every team to, the parents coming to watch their people fish. But I think once we got to the meeting, they had it broken up into I think it was like 40 teams. If you're A through K, you go at 4:00, and then it was 4:30 for the rest of the boaters' names and stuff. And once you walk in there, you realize that this is getting very real. It's not like an AFFL tournament where everybody's like, hey, how are you? You good? Hey, dude, what's your name? It's stone cold. You're fishing for $125,000 in a classic berth. You are fishing for the classic. It doesn't matter. I don't care who it is. You can downplay, it's not you are fishing to be a part of the classic. And if you want to downplay it, I'm telling you right now, go to this tournament, and it will shake you in the best way possible. And it's an amazing feeling. And you go in, and I immediately just try and just start talking to people, because I try and break the ice. So we met people from Michigan. We met people from Maryland, Florida, Washington State. And you realize how big these, what do they call them? The Bass Nation teams, right? So there was
international. There was a bunch of international people there too,
from South Africa.
There's several countries, European countries and African.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
And they had you go in there, you show them your license. The guys run down the line, and you show them their license. If you don't have your license out and ready, they're not going to pass you. They're going to sit there, and they're going to stare at you. These old men are going to be like. They're just going to look at you in the face until you show them their license. They don't care. And if you don't show them your license, you leave. You're out of the tournament. It is no holds barred with them. They don't play. And but you show up, you say, what's your names? Jensen, Spagnola. They're all right, cool. You're checked in. Bye. It is such a fluid involvement with it all. And there's maybe Yamaha vendor was there, and they had their own vendor there selling team championship apparel, but that was it. It wasn't a big hoax to get money from people and all this other stuff. A lot of other tournaments are. It literally is show up. You're valuable. We understand the trail that you fish and how hard it is to get here. And it was like a big thank you. And then they gave you food. And everybody got free food, catered event. You sat down, you spoke to all kinds of other people, and everybody knew. I mean, you can see in fishing tournaments, you can look around in the morning. Everybody thinks they're going to win. Everybody's like, nope, we're winning. We're winning. I don't care. And me and Jay just joke. I mean, this year will be our 7th year fishing as tournaments together. And we literally just joke around, have fun, talk about Bigfoot, and literally just, and then we leave and we go home and watch a football game and get up in the morning and do it again. But it was a once in a lifetime. My goal is to get back there again this year, obviously, just so, because
not happening.
The weather would be nicer, but I mean, we planned for that event when it first came out. When did they bring that out? In March? So
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I didn't
March.
want-
We had our waypoints planned since March of last year, so like we were planning to go, right? Because that's how you have to be if you want to do something. And
Oh yeah.
once we got there, it was so surreal because we did so much head work, all the research and stuff, all the money you put into this stuff all year long, all the tournaments you fish, and then you get to the tournament that matters, the one that's like, okay, I'm here. This is my chance. And you have a blast. Like there's no pressure at that point. Like you have fun and you do exactly what you do all year long in that 3-day tournament, and you just soak it up and have a blast. And at the end of the day, I think we both called you guys and we're like, dude, this is awesome. Thank you guys so much for the AFFL. Like the AFFL can get you into the Classic. How amazing is that?
It's pretty, dude. I was rooting so hard for you guys down there. I wanted to see you guys walk across that stage so bad. Like Austin talk about it all the time. Like how cool would it be to see our guys walk across that stage like that?
I'll cry
I mean,
the day it happens. I'm speaking into existence. It's gonna happen.
It is gonna happen for sure.
Mark my words. The AFFL will
like,
send somebody to the
It's
Classic.
gonna happen, baby. I'm going.
Yeah, New Hampshire's gonna send someone next year.
The other thing too about the tournament, not only is it a big field on a big lake, big stakes, every single team that's there is there because they were the best team in whatever league or division or state or whatever they're in. So everybody there is an extremely capable and competent angler. So
that's the thing, man. Like I don't like we have fun fishing our stuff, right? Like we get together, we joke around, we have fun. When you get to the Bassmaster Team Championship, I mean, you have to think about the people that you're going against. You're going against locals who have earned their way through their local club on that lake. And then you're going against everybody. Like you said, you had countries from all around the world sending their top teams there. Like you're in some stiff competition. That's why I wanted to get you guys' feelings on like what it was like when you showed up.
It was, it was really readily apparent that this was a serious endeavor at the tournament. These guys knew what they were doing. And it was cool. That was a cool aspect of it, because sometimes you show up and, it's kind of a rinky-dink situation, but not at all in this one. These guys were all, it essentially was operated like a pro tournament. They had the service teams for Mercury and Yamaha were on site just like they would be for an Elite Series event. So I mean, the tournament director 100%. Operated like it was a professional tournament.
That is a professional tournament. I don't care what anybody says. When you're fishing for a spot in the Super Bowl of bass fishing, that's a professional tournament. I don't care. That's
the coolest part about that is Compton even turned around. Like G.L. Compton, when we went up on stage, he was like, "Hey, Team Jensen and Spagnola from the Armed Forces Fishing League," and he stopped everything, turned around, looked at us, and he seen that I was a veteran. He was like, "Hey, I just want to thank you for your service." And like, I'm not one to really care about that at all, but it was a nice gesture to see that that's still a thing in the world for our military to get the respect that we work so hard for our country. So from an AFFL point of view, it is very well seen that the Bassmaster respects us. They don't look at our numbers, but they look at what our numbers did, right? So what we did as far as all of our service members, everyone who was out on the front lines doing their thing, they respect that. They didn't care that, oh, you guys only have 400 people and we have 5,000 teams. They cared like you have 400 bad mamma jammas out there fishing. How cool is that,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. I didn't know he did that. That's awesome.
He's a genuine dude too. I talked to GL at the Classic. I ran into him when we were up there in March, and that was when we were. I don't think we had announced it yet. Hey, chill out. I don't think we had announced the team championship yet because we were still waiting on the paperwork to get finalized and everything. And we had gone back and forth on him, and there was something on Bassmaster's end they were like lagging on pretty heavily. And not to talk crap about him by any means, but I know Nick and I had both been kind of pinging him like, hey, when are we going to see this contract? When are we going to see this contract? Because we didn't want to push it out yet. Like, we wanted the information to get out to the AFFL, but we wanted it to be a sealed deal before we did.
Yeah.
And we were waiting on this paperwork for months. And I walked up to him. I was like, hey, man, Austin Kitterman, AFFL, you're GL Compton, right? And he's like, dude, I promise I'm working on the contract. Like, super genuine, like, awesome dude, like, very apologetic.
He's young, too.
Yeah.
Very young.
It caught me really off guard when I seen his name tag. And I was like, that's the dude I've been talking to? Dang, okay. All right. I mean, I look 12 too.
The coolest thing that he did, I think the coolest part of that tournament that like really the first day that made it like really surreal was their takeoff. They announced all 240 boats, each person on the boat and the organization that they're with. We have Team Jensen and Spagnola from the Armed Forces Fishing League taking off, and they're like, go get them, and then the next team,
cool.
like, I was just, dude, it was such a, like, I always get the goosebumps when I fish and they do the national anthem and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that is what, like, they did that. And I just got pumped, dude. I was like, let's go out on some 5-footers and get soaking wet. Like, so no, that was cool.
Did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
we did. We got drenched. Yeah.
Did you guys, so like, I mean, I still, even in small club tournaments, I still get butterflies during takeoff. It's just that, like, that adrenaline rush is coming of the takeoff and, like, getting to your spot. I don't know. What was it like when you took off on the first day? Like, do you guys get butterflies when you fish?
I wanted to jump out of the boat and swim to the first spot. I was so amped, dude.
I have to try to maintain a balance, so I try to stay a little bit lower key because Gage gets pretty amped up. And our starting spot was a spot that he actually had caught one of our better fish in practice off of, so he was really excited to get to that first spot. And it wasn't a very long run, but it was in major waves to get there. So
yeah.
I was nervous about getting there and everything being in one piece when we got there. Gage was ready to snatch up that rattle trap and pluck a 3-pound smallie is what he was ready for.
So is that what you guys were targeting with smallmouth?
We caught, I think we caught every species that was there while we were in practice. The fish we weighed in were 2 largemouth and a smallmouth. They really were mixed all together. There were certain days where it was like, okay, we got 2 bites there. They were both smallmouth, and then we go kind of back in the creek a little bit and fish like a submerged bridge or something and catch a largemouth. But you could literally catch any black bass species off of any spot at that lake, which is another reason why it's kind of a cool lake.
So can you?
I was disappointed with our result and the weather, but I was not disappointed at all with the lake. The lake is a great lake, great fishery. So I mean, I would go back there in a heartbeat for any tournament.
Can you win with smallmouth on that lake?
They did win.
The guys, almost every guy that, like the top 5 teams were all smallmouth.
25 pounds won it with 2 days with smallmouth.
That's wild. I'm
I'd say all the top. I think the top 5 teams were all almost exclusively smallmouth.
If you go north, you're going for smallmouth. Typically, if you stay south of that lake, you're going to end up fishing for largemouth. And that's just how that lake runs.
Man, that's awesome, dude. Smallmouth fishing. I think that would be a cool lake for a national. And
it would have suited your style really well, Nick. You would have liked that lake a lot.
You can go south, like for a lot of guys down south that don't have smallmouth, they can go south for largemouth, and the guys from up north, we can go north for smallmouth, and That's what I like,
Yeah.
trying to find a lake to kind of balance it. You know, something for everybody for a national event, right?
Lake Murray's
kind
like
of
that. Put it on Lake Murray. It's just like
Do they have smallmouth in Lake Murray? I don't think.
yeah. I've seen one.
I've seen one.
I've seen one weighed about 3 years ago, and it was like a 3.5 pounder. So they got
Lucas
out here.
Lucas Murphy.
Yeah,
Did I hear you?
and you just try and lock into the Monticello from the Broad River, and you got it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I heard some smallmouth are in there. Austin has a picture to prove it.
Yeah, there was a tournament today on Monticello, and some guys weighed in a smallmouth that weighed 685.
You said a smallmouth.
So we got a
85?
Yeah,
a 685 smallmouth out of Monticello was weighed in a tournament today,
My goodness.
Where'd you
That's
see that?
and I think they had 23 pounds, and they had 4 smallmouth in their bag.
Was that cat?
I don't know. I just saw a post on Facebook, and I think it was a club tournament.
I want to find that, man. That's a nice smallmouth.
Yeah, I gotta find that. Lonnie caught a 5 last year with me. It was, I think it was just shot 5. It was like a 4.95, and I'll never forget when that fish came up and showed itself at the boat. We knew it was a good one. We didn't know it was a 5 almost, and when it came up to the side of the boat, I think we both about had a heart attack. And then when it finally hit the deck, it threw us both for a loop. I'm gonna try to hide on that.
It was Ronnie Mueller that caught it, I believe.
Oh, really? Good for him. I like him. He's
Yeah.
fished with us a little bit. I like Ronnie Mueller a lot. He
won the event.
watches
he won last year in the AFFL.
Yeah, he won our Open on Murray, and he watches the podcast every once in a while. I see him jump in and comment. So if you're in here, Ronnie, congrats, man. That's awesome. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Bo, you better be mounting that 6-pound smallmouth. Like a 6-pound smallmouth in South Carolina.
I mean, I'm almost rounding that up to 7. That's a 65. That rounds up to 7.
I only
sure.
fished with 70-pound braid, so I would have just ripped that sucker in.
Okay, Lonnie, I gotta get the. I'm gonna pull this up.
Daddy, still cute on this.
What?
So you guys are out there fishing. You're battling, 5-foot waves out there. What's going through your head? You had what, 3 fish in the live well, you said? What's going through your heads at that point in time?
Well, I think what was going through our heads was that every spot that we were trying to get to, we would work our tail off to get to them and get beat up, and there'd be a boat on it because there's so many boats in that tournament. Or we would be sitting on a point and a team just wouldn't care. They would just come in on you, and they would be within like casting distance because they're sitting there live scoping your boat and watching the fish under your boat. And we don't have live scope. So we literally just fish traditional. That's our thing. That's what we do. And we've always done it that way. And I think that the problem was that we seen, especially in practice, was that we would save fish. So we would be like, all right, we're getting bit here. We're not catching any more fish, or we're not catching fish here. If we were fishing with a jig or a moving bait, if we would try and shake the fish off, or we just wouldn't even set the hook. But then another team would come in behind us and just jack that fish and bring them to the boat and hook them. So you had all these fish with sore mouths from 2 days of everybody catching them. And then the day the tournament starts, of course, it's going to be tough. And of course, the only fish are going to be the deep fish that you have to brave the tough waters to catch them. So I think that from my point of view, it was hard enough for me, but I'm not the guy on the trolling motor that was like in pain and agony. Like he'd be like, you got to take the trolling motor. I get up there and take it for a second just so he could take a break. And then because it was a lot. And I know
the trolling motor is no joke, man. When you're in that rough water, like when you're up on front of that boat, it'll beat the bag out of you. Like I had a friend, we went fishing on the St. Lawrence, and I was like, dude, I need you to step up here. And he took over the front, and he's not really like into bass fishing too much. He's getting into it, but he's up there and he's on his knees with his hand on the pedal, like battle. He's like, I don't know how you fish like this, like because it's a whole different animal when you're on the front of the boat. It'll beat you up.
Yeah. Well, this FYI, spot lock doesn't work when the prop is out of the water.
No.
So there was no spot lock. You had to be up there because the prop was at the water at the time.
But what
Yeah,
about
Yeah.
it was pretty brutal, but
So you guys went.
we didn't hold anything back. Gage, you know, we didn't lay up. Well, we made a 20-mile run down to a bridge. I was like, may as well just shoot our shot here and see what it is, and we made that run. And of course, there's a boat sitting on it, so we tried to kind of salvage by kind of fishing sides or the other opposite end or whatever. But it's kind of a community hole down there, and everybody knew about it. So I kind of halfway expected someone to be there, but I wasn't gonna not go, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't think Gage was thrilled
I mean,
when I pointed the boat that direction.
Well, thank the Lord. Like, if you're a co-angler, I highly recommend getting the face savers, PHACE savers. Get them. They're $100, and it saved my life as a co-angler. Right from I don't know, like Jay goes with the motorcycle helmet, and I have a face saver. And I mean, as many co-angler events and all this stuff that I've fished, and 6-7 years. I wished I would have had one. Instead, I just used to have snowboarding goggles, and that just didn't cut it. But that saved me a ton. But as a co-angler, you just get completely soaked when there's just 5-footers. Just you hit one wave, and then the water just comes in from both sides. And then on our way down there, we have to go past a giant barge that the waves go from 5 to like 6 to 7 to 8 foot swells. So the waves you're looking at are above you, and then you're coming up out of them and then back down. And that lake was drawn down. So if you didn't stay in the channel, you were in like 1 foot of water. So you had, so there wasn't much to deviate. I mean, yeah.
You couldn't hide from the wind. You can't like run the opposite bank and hide from the wind. You had to be in it. That's all there was to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not for nothing, man. I don't like beating the bag out of my stuff on the boat. Like, I don't do it for a living. You know what I mean? So for me to go, I'm not going to go get free trolling motors and graphs and stuff. Like, I have to buy that stuff. So for me to go out there and battle that, it's like, is it worth it? And I think you guys, playing it safe, I think you guys made the right choice at the end of the day for sure. I mean, you got some good experience. Was this the biggest tournament you've ever fished?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I fished in like BFL regionals and stuff like that. But as far as what was truly on the line, then I would say, yeah, this was the biggest.
Yeah. I'll take a classic over going to the All-American for MLF any day,
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. But you guys were out there, graphing, hunting for fish, and from our talks prior, to the entering this podcast, it sounds like you guys were hunting for something else too. I don't know if you want to.
Go ahead, Jay.
So the backstory of this was, basically there was a television show called Finding Bigfoot, and my family used to watch it because it was one of these shows that you could watch on television with a small child, with when any swear anything in it. So we watched all these shows, and I told Gage about it, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but we were like out boating in an isolated area, and I made a comment about a Bigfoot being in this area, and Gage had never seen the show, so he started being very obsessed about the show, and we ended up watching I think about 10 hours of Finding Bigfoot in the truck on the way back to South Carolina. And we were in one of the no, but we were in one of the squatchiest areas in America in North Georgia.
That's right.
We actually saw signs on the highway where it's like a Bigfoot thing where everybody goes to watch, trying to find Bigfoot. So Gage is all in. I've already graduated from that, but Gage is fully immersed in Bigfoot.
So when we
studies.
fish tournaments, we find like, especially that we travel, we always find something that takes up all of our conversations. It's one subject and it's the entire conversation. I mean, of all the times that we traveled away to the tournaments, it's normally just something insane, whether it's the same movie that we just quote over and over again every time we catch a fish.
Spaceballs.
Yeah, so Spaceballs is normally our go-to, right? But lately, now it's the BFRO, the Bigfoot. What is it? The Bigfoot Field Research Organization, right?
There you go.
Yeah, they had and we were joking because we seen on the news on our way up there that there was what they call a Class A sighting.
Sighting. Yeah, right by Gage's house. That's how it all began.
Yeah. So I was like, well, we got a Class A sighting. I got to start looking into this, you know. So most people are prepping for an apocalypse. I'm prepping for Bigfoot, right? So we're at a point now in our life where I turned on the show and my wife looked at me and was like, what are you doing? I said, this is what me and Jay did when we were on the road. And she's like, yeah, so you guys always do some crazy stuff. I said, yeah. I said, we always try to find something because you got to, like, it was miserable out there, right? So we always try and find something to joke about. We're getting beat up by waves and sitting here laughing about Class A sightings. That looks like a good bank right there, you know, and stuff like that really helps lessen the pain that you're going through, I guess you could say.
The suck.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
it takes your mind off the suck.
When you're out in the field
and the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a blast. And the Bigfoot, I mean, I was glad. I wanted to go to Kentucky Lake, not to even fish, but I wanted to go to see if I could see Bigfoot. And the fishing was just a sidebar. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see one, but that doesn't take my hope down.
All right, time out. Let me get your best squall.
Oh, the guys on the show. So the guys.
No, you. I want your best squall.
Watch. They'll go. And they'll all right, this is Bobo making the Ohio howler. And they're like, go ahead for the Ohio howler. And then they go, ah! And they're like, dude, that's good.
And then you wait for the response. You got everybody's like listening carefully for the big to call back.
Yeah. And then they hear it and they're like, holy crap.
They always hear it.
There's 2 Bigfoots. Did you hear that? I heard 2. Yep.
Dude, I would love to be in the woods when they do that and just make a noise back at them like that.
Well, there is.
100%.
There's got to be people in the woods, right?
Yeah, it has to be, man. That'd be so fun. So if you see one, am I going to see it mounted next to that deer mount you have behind you?
No, we'll keep it in a cage in the backyard or something. You know, we're in, we're in Trump Nation now, baby. We do what we want around here. We'll keep them in the back. You know,
you won't catch it. You'll just get a really grainy photo. No matter how sophisticated our cameras are, every picture is always real grainy and blurry. So that's what you'll have.
Dude,
it'll be a real grainy photo.
It's better than any comedy show you ever met. And they have town halls on there. So the people have town halls. So the guys that are in charge of, what do they call, the BFRO or whatever, they go and they speak to each town. And each town has like 30 people that have seen Bigfoot. And they detail it out where they're like, he was standing like this when he crossed and he was ape-like. Like, oh, dude. The funniest thing in the world. Watch the show and you won't. It's called Finding Bigfoot, literally, and it's free, so you can't lose.
Noted.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Your homework project. Your homework project is to watch a couple seasons. That way we can discuss this when we meet up at Gunnersville.
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect.
See everybody at Gunnersville, and you bring your best squaller or howler. All right. We ain't kidding.
That's how we'll talk to each other at the meeting.
I guarantee you there's some Sasquatch around Lake Gunnersville. Guaranteed.
I put money on it. Cool, man. So, I mean, that was the event. I remember you guys, giving us a call after day one, feeling pretty defeated, I mean, but again, I mean, look at the competition that you guys went up against. I mean, I don't care how you guys look at it. I mean, I look at it like you guys earned a spot to get to that point, and you fished and you toughed it out. I mean, things happen, There's a tough tournament.
Yeah, I agree. We're a very competitive team. Like, we don't get in the boat to just, hey, let's see what today brings. If we come to a tournament, the fish, we have a plan, we have a game plan. That's why the organization that you have created is such a blast to us. So everybody likes to be competitive, but everybody is friendly and nice. So we can have that conversation and all get on the boat. We don't have to be nasty to each other. There's organizations where nobody talks, everybody's buttholes to each other, and they come back and everybody's upset that they didn't win. Everybody is always happy for every person that wins. If you win a tournament or Austin wins a tournament or whoever wins, it is still a blast. Even though it's competitive, we're able to still have fun and have that brotherhood that we talk about, but still be in competition as men love to do, right? So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and that was the thing. Like, I mean, you guys have fished other tournaments and stuff too. Like, it'll drain you. You show up to these tournaments and you try and talk to people, and it's so cutthroat. Like, for me, like, fishing is supposed to be fun, right? And once you lose the fun in fishing, what's the point of it? We're not doing this for a living. When I show up and you take time away from your family on a weekend day and you go and you travel to these different tournaments, like, you want to have fun. And if there's no fun in it, I mean, what's the point? I just don't see it. So, and just hearing that you guys are having fun doing it, that means a lot for sure. That's what it's all about.
No, dude. And it's a blast. And the one thing I wanted to share before we bounce, I wanted to share something, how much this tournaments and this organization means, and like all the sponsors and all the help from you guys to, For His Glory Outdoors with Bobby Edwards and stuff. The first tournament we had in January of last year, I was going through a lot mentally, and that is when I met Bobby Edwards with For His Glory Outdoors. I didn't know Bobby before January of last year. And now me and him are very close and very good friends now. But he actually, what he didn't know is he said, hey, why don't you come on the boat with me? I never met you. I know you're a veteran, so on and so forth. And going to your tournament and going there to the AFFL on Murray actually saved my life, because I was actually planning my suicide. So what happened was I met with Bobby, and he actually got me with the program. Well, he did a lot more than just get me with the program. He spoke to me. He got me on the boat. We had conversations, and he led me to find my Savior, Jesus Christ. Okay. And I don't think I've ever said that or realized it, but it started with me signing up. It started with Jay calling me and being like, hey, do you want to fish this tournament? It may be something pretty cool. And then we went there and we meet everybody, and everybody's so nice. And then I met Bobby Edwards, and he introduced For His Glory Outdoors to me. And that moment is what initiated my life being saved by Jesus, right? Because then later on, after I spent many, many moments with Bobby speaking, that led me to go to what's called Operation Restored Warrior. And I highly suggest people look into that if they're troubled as I was, or many other veterans are. But I just want you to know that that is what ultimately came, and that is why the AFFL and For His Glory Outdoors and everything is so precious to me in my heart. So that's why I love everybody that's a part of this. That's why I love you guys, and I thank you guys so much. And I thank Jeremiah for teaching me how to fish 7 years ago. And ultimately, God had a plan to line me up to save my life, not only through Jeremiah or you guys or Bobby Edwards or the AFFL, but just by just showing up and paying an entry fee. So that's something that I wanted to just say thank you guys, because it's more than just being there that happens.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that, man. I'm thankful that you're with us, and you know that the evil didn't take hold of your plan that you had. I'm glad God found his way into your life. You know, thank you for still being here with us, and thank you for being part of the organization and sharing that story. That's incredible.
Yeah. No, I just realized I never told you, so I figured I would connect the dots. So
Yeah.
thank you guys, and you know, we love it. It's the best grand tournament scene that we've ever been a part of. The first tournament we ever went to, we remember Bobby Edwards in Austin. Bobby was on the trolling motor. He was doing exactly what the lead guy does when he's letting them go. And we were like, man, this is a real deal. There was only 13 people in the tournament, I believe, but it was the best grand tournament that we've been a part of in a very long time.
That's awesome. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, you guys both deserve a lot for that, but Austin does a great job running every one of his tournaments.
Yeah,
really does.
That's not what I. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I do horrible. I do horrible.
I still think Watery was rigged. I'm just kidding.
We had, I mean, we gave you guys all the other opportunities. You got to give us one.
Well,
That's what you got.
okay. Well, just one last thing about that, Gage. They saved us because they got the big bass in that tournament.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we won
which
points.
knocked out, which gave us that bonus point lead to win it, the winning team of the year. So
That's right.
There you go.
I'll give Austin a pat on the back for that one.
That's awesome. Well, you said that was Operation Restored Warrior. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. I'm gonna put that on our resources page on the website.
Yeah. No,
That's that's a good one. Yeah, I'll definitely add that up there for sure. I like that. If you guys, so anybody, like if you guys or anybody watching has any resources like that you think we could get into our veterans and first responders' lives, let me know, and I'll update that resources page we have on the website, because that was a huge reason I wanted to start a league like this, was to get people connected, because you know how it is, man. You go through, when you get out of service and you're going through the VA and you start finding out about all these different things that were available to you but nobody told you about. Now you have to fight for all these different things. It's like, let's shed some light on that. Let's make it a lot easier on our service members to get what they earned. You know, and that, so anybody that has anything like that, please share it with us and we'll put it on the resources page for sure.
Yeah.
Gage, your story is exactly the envision and the mission of the Armed Forces Fishing.
100%. Yeah.
Like, the whole intent. We fish, yes. You know, we talk about this a lot. We talk about the brotherhood or fishing and all, but like that is the number one point of the arm. Yes, that's so pretty. You're doing a great job, boo. That is the number one point of the Armed Forces Fishing League, is for those, for situations where you connect with somebody, they get you the help you need, intentionally, unintentionally, and all that. And it's wild how the Lord works. Because if I'm not mistaken, you're talking about the March tournament, correct?
January.
The January tournament. That's when it started. Oh, the first one.
Yep, January 11th of 2024.
That tournament sucked.
Yeah, we won it. It didn't suck.
Yeah, y'all won it. We didn't. We sucked. We sucked really bad. It was cold.
It was cool just to be there for the first time, because we never heard anything about it. Like literally, Jay came to me and was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to fish this? Maybe we'll fish the one and we'll just sign up and fish it, because that's our time of year that we love to fish. It's the winter time on Lake Murray, and because we can fish our style, do our thing." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I didn't know if I was going to be there, but like God did. He was like, "Yeah, you're going to be there." And Bobby Edwards is going to wrangle you up. You know what I mean? So like, and that's exactly how it worked, you know, and it was perfect the way it was. And it's so cool that it started in such, like, I guess you could say, like, my mind was in such perilous times in January, and then go through the entire year. And in December, I'm at the Bassmaster Team Championship because we just won Team of the Year, and then we just won, and then we won the national championship, and then we're here. Like, it's crazy how God works. Like, and I'm not saying like, you know, favoritism or whatever, but it's just, it was a great reward for going through a lot of hard times in the beginning and not being able to just be on my boat with one of my best friends and just having fun with the guy that mentored me through bass fishing. And that tournament in December was exactly what it was like 7 years ago when Jeremiah was like, hey, dude, why don't you just come fishing? And we had exactly the fun that we had, just like we used to back in the old times, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You know, I mean, you know how it is when you get out of service. They just, I don't want to say they throw you to the wolves, but they kind of do. Like, you're kind of on your own when you get out, right? So, and like having, for me, it was a lot easier to talk to people that have kind of shared experiences that you've gone through, you know, and like make that connection, because when you're out, it's like your brothers are gone. You know what I mean? Like, they're off. Some of them are still in, some of them are done and moved away. So it's like you're kind of on your own. And when you are around people that have shared similar experiences, you open up.
Oh, Nick left.
Did I just cut out? Am I still here?
Yeah, we lost your screen. We can hear you, but we lost your screen. You're pitch black.
I mean, what I was saying was you tend to open up more when you're around people that have been through similar experiences.
In the AFFL, there is nobody there. Everybody, one person there has been through probably something that you have experienced. So don't feel uncomfortable. Don't feel unloved. Like, we don't care what you did, how you did it. I just want you to get the help that you deserve. And every veteran, every human being, man or woman, veteran or not, we just want you to have the best mental health possible. And if you get anything out of this podcast, is get the comfortability to speak to your fellow brothers and sisters about not only getting the help you need, but getting the help you need through Jesus. So like, I'm always here. Reach out to Nick or Alston if you ever want to speak about Jesus, want to know about Jesus. I know, you know, we're just blessed down here to not only have a tournament director, but we also have Bobby Edwards with For His Glory Outdoors to help guide other veterans, not only during the tournaments, but the entire year. You know, so we have a list of resources that is open to not just South Carolina, but open to the entire AFFL organization, whether you're a member or not. Have people reach out to us. There's tons of people here that'll help you and love you and judge you on anything that you want to speak on.
Yeah, you don't have to be a member to talk to any one of us. Like, if you're just watching the podcast or following the league, you can reach out to any one of us at any time. You know, that you don't have to be a member to feel connected with us. That's not what it's about. We're not in this. We're a nonprofit. We're not in this to make money. We're there to help our veterans and first responders in any way that we can. Like, that's what it's about. So don't feel like you have to be a member to talk to any one of us. That's not the case.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, cool, guys. Do you guys have anything you want to add on the that Bassmaster Team Championship event or anything else?
No, I mean, really just, again, just expressing our appreciation, the opportunity. You know, the whole league, I think is fantastic. I'm not a veteran, but it was a real honor to be able to, you know, fish with you guys, and Gage is my best friend. And this really was mainly about the whole thing for him, you know, and the platform that you guys give people like him and yourselves, I think it's fantastic. And so I intend to be, you know, somehow involved in any way that I can going forward. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
and just
Yeah, we
appreciate the
appreciate
opportunity to fish it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you, and thank you for getting, Gage into fishing, and getting him, saving him. Really, you saved him by getting into fishing. So, thank you.
Yeah, the fishing's an awesome platform to be a part of, and it's a blessing. So, and you can take it away. You can take the route where you're just hardened all the time, or you can just have fun and enjoy it and have the competition at the same time. You can still be competitive and smile,
Yeah.
So it's just cool. And then, the opportunities in the AFFL, like the championship and then the Bass Team Championship, there are just a lot of cool platforms to be a part of. Like we're really looking forward to we're really looking forward to Gunnersville. I mean, just because we're going to be around everybody, and we can have a blast, meet new people. And when you're around new people, not only do you get to know them, but you also get to learn different fishing styles, so you learn different techniques, different things, and be open to certain things that doesn't require $2,500 to be put on your boat.
Exactly. Cool. Well, Gage, thank you for sharing that story again. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that stuff, but thank you. That was very eye-opening, and I'm glad you're still with us, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it's called Jesus Christ and being vulnerable. So I highly recommend it to people.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for all your dedication to our state. And I mean, I don't believe y'all missed one, did you? Last year?
No. I'll miss Murray this year, but Jeremiah will be there as a substitute. That's another veteran. So it'll be cool to get him into our lane,
Yeah.
Right.
So
For sure.
He'll probably win because I'm not there.
No. He won with you. No, this needs to stay over here.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking about all that. Thank you for being part of the organization, and looking forward to beating you at nationals.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna come to you.
Pleasure. We enjoyed it.
Tires.
Good deal. Well, we'll let y'all get off here. We're gonna probably wrap this joker up. It's 1:12. We've been at an hour and 12 minutes. So
Kansas City, I'm hoping they're beating the brakes off of the Bills right now. So.
Oh, hold on a second. There you go. Someone just posted. Don't worry.
Oh gosh. Hey, my Eagles are in it, so we're good.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you again for coming on, and I'll see you guys in Alabama.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We'll see you. I'll see y'all the 8th. Well, not you, Gage.
Yep.
I'll see you sooner than that, probably.
I'll see you.
Yeah. I'll see you, Jeremiah, on the 8th.
All right. See you guys.
See you the 8th.
Yeah. See
All
ya.
right. See you later.
8, 9, 12, 14, 16, and 40.
Yeah. We're counting numbers here. The marshmallows are in full go. That's why I've been muted majority of the time. I hope. She is competing with me, and I'm struggling to mute and unmute and all that. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We were gonna go over the Clark's Hill stuff, but I don't think we're gonna have time. But here's that 6-pound smallmouth. I kind of got distracted with it. Mel, calm it down.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 23 pounds. With a 6.85, and that Ronnie Mueller has fished with us. Great dude, Bella. I need you to calm down for just a few minutes, okay? You can sit up here, but you need to calm down for just a few more minutes, okay? You just want to be crazy. Yeah, I hear you. Well, good deal. Well, we'll go ahead and move on over to the giveaway real quick. If you're joined us and you haven't done the giveaway, make sure you guys are sharing, and hashtagging the SITREP for your chance at some barbecue sauce and a t-shirt. That's what we're doing, right, Nick?
Yeah, and who did we have last week?
Last week we had Chris Warren.
I'm gonna get with them right now.
Yeah, we just gotta move it over. It's okay, boo. Look, there you go. Now you can draw. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and do this. You gotta watch. You gotta hold it like Daddy told you. There you go. Hey. All right, and here we go.
Oh no.
Robert Manshak. Your new name. I don't. I seen
He's,
you on there today.
He's up in he's fishing the Wisconsin division
Wisconsin division. Good
Yeah.
deal. It looks like he's got a beautiful smallmouth in that
this year. That is
picture
a nice
right
small
there. Heck yeah. Well, congrats, man. We'll get you some stuff shipped out. Make sure you hit the main page with your address so we can get that stuff shipped over to you, and make sure you give Nick your shirt size for the t-shirt. And we'll get that shipped over to you. But yeah, that's really all we have tonight. Nick, do you have anything else you want to go over before we try to dive into the devotional a little bit if she'll let me?
Are you done with your podcast?
Almost done, boo.
I don't know. We're good.
I don't want that.
You don't want to? Oh, you can't draw on this. This is my Bible, boo. Well, all right. Well, thanks for everybody that jumped in tonight and staying in, and we're going to.
Get some in.
Can you tell everybody bye?
Bye.
Crazy.
Bye.
But we'll dive into for the folks that don't normally stay, have a good week, and we'll see y'all next week. And then we'll dive into our devotional real quick. Nick, we didn't even talk about it, but I did have we're not leaving just yet, though. We're gonna dive in. I still can't see you, Nick. Does it show you to where we can see you on your end?
Yeah, it's showing.
You're like, I don't know, maybe it's just my screen. I don't know, but on mine it's pitch black. You're pitch black.
No.
You can stand up. That's fine.
I stand
You can stand up all you want.
Stop it.
You're watching yourself. All right, you gotta be quiet while we go over this real quick, okay?
Let's have
You want to talk to the microphone? Yeah. Here comes the marshmallows are full go right now. But we'll go over this real quick, and then we'll get y'all on your way. Tonight I was going to talk into 4 Philippians 6 through 7.
Stop it. Stop it.
Bella, that's enough. Okay, let me talk real quick.
That's the next.
It depends on. Yes, you can sit on the desk, but sit over here.
No.
There you go. And Philippians 4 6 through 7. It depends on the translation that you read. And the NLT, it says, don't worry about anything. In NIV, and in King James, it says, don't be anxious about anything. But we're going to dive into this real quick. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all that he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds everything or anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. And the big thing I want to talk about here is like basically what he's saying is yes, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything and give thanksgiving, is what NIV states, and King James are both around there through prayer and supplication. But the thing is, like, thinking about giving him thanks for the bad things. Like Gage's story tonight is a perfect example. And if Gage didn't go to get to that point that he was at, and as bad as he was in that point, and I've been at that point, a lot of us have been at that point to where plans are, you're building. Bella, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm not throwing you down. Calm down and just watch out. When you start to build those plans and stuff, that's that point to find Jesus. Sometimes he has to knock you down there. Well, he doesn't knock you down. He allows you to be knocked down to find him. And giving thanks in that situation, even though that situation seems so bad in that moment, without it, you would have never found Jesus. Right. And I'm sure we all have that moment in life that is the bad thing. Last week, Nick brought it up perfectly. And he said, give thanks for everything. And everything means everything, not just the good things.
I like this golden.
But
This golden
if you don't worry about
got a
anything,
carrot on it.
yeah, that's a pretty coin. If you pray about everything and don't worry about anything and give thanks for the situation, it'll I promise you the peace will transcend. Just like it says, his peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. And he'll give you the things that you're asking for.
Don't
He will
God
give you.
give us Jesus.
God did give us Jesus. Good
Yeah.
job. Give me 5. That's right. We'll end on that note. Good
Yeah.
job. God did give us Jesus. Amen. I love that. Give me a big hug. Yep. Cool. Well, can you tell everybody bye, boo?
Bye.
Say hey. Can you say
Bye.
something for me?
Yes.
Can you say, hey, y'all have a good week? Remember,
Have a good week.
it's not just a tournament. It's a brotherhood.
It's not true. It's a brotherhood.
That's right.
That's right.
That's darn right. Well, good deal. I don't have anything else. If you don't have anything, Nick,
No, I don't.
good deal. Well, y'all be safe and have a good week, and we'll see y'all next week. Cool.
All
Not
right.
just-
See Nick in the next
yeah, we'll see Nick next week too. That's right.
Yay.
All right. See y'all later.
See you guys.